Good morning, honorable members and colleagues, members of the programming committee.
Recording in progress.
It's 8:30, the start of our meeting. As we've agreed, colleagues, the reason we're meeting today, this morning, it's because the Chief Whips Forum, in looking at the program, there was an item around which they needed to consult their caucuses. So we agreed that instead of meeting yesterday, we will meet today, this morning. I do hope that all members are aware as to the reason why we're meeting today. Having said that, you are most welcome. Mr. Kaso, do we have any apologies for this meeting?
Good morning, Honorable Speaker and honorable members. We have received two apologies. The apology of Honorable Sewaya and the apology of Honorable Kwangwa.
Thank you very much. Those are the two apologies. Are there any maybe that members may want to make? Honorable Mpapani?
Good morning, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. I want to tender the apology of the Chief Whip. He might be joining us a little bit later. Thank you.
Thank you. The Chief Whip is in the PAP, if I recall well. So we take his apology and those other two. Honorable Nondenja?
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable Kwankwa will be joining us a little bit late, but he's gonna be in. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Noted. Colleagues, I think those are the only apologies we've received this morning. I'll now move to the consideration of the agenda that has been circulated. Can I get the mover for the adoption of the agenda?
Speaker, I move, Member Dagmo.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nondenja.
I second the adoption. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We now move to the committee reports. The reports from the committee section and from the Bills office. Over to you.
Good morning, Speaker and honorable members, and good morning to colleagues. Speaker, this is a report for committee section, and I will start to slide number 2. My presentation is segmented into 3 parts. The first part considers the bills before the National Assembly committees, and the second part will deal with the statutory appointment, and the last part will consider petition. Currently, in terms of the bills before the National Assembly committees, we have got 27 bills, of which 15 of them are executive bills and 12 of them are private members' bill. The 12th bill is a new bill which has just recently been introduced by Honorable Member Mende. That bill has been duly referred to a committee of Portfolio Committee on Trade, Industry and Competition on the 8th of September. It's a bill which is called Trade, it's a liquor amendment bill. We can go to slide number 4. These are the bills before the committee, the updates of the bills before the committee. This is a bill which is a Performing Animals Protection Amendment Bill, which is considered by Portfolio Committee on Agriculture. Here is that the update is that on the 9th of September, the committee have received the briefing from the department, and it has been the further briefings are scheduled to take place on the next term in October. And we can move to slide number 14. Yeah, this is a Protection of State Information Bill amendment bill, which is considered by Portfolio Committee on Justice. Yeah, further deliberations are scheduled for the next term for this bill. We can move to slide number 15. The slide number 15 deals with the constitutional 19th Amendment Bill, which is also considered by Portfolio Committee on Justice. And even here, the further deliberations are scheduled for the next term. We can move to slide number 16. In slide number 16, considers the constitutional 20th Amendment Bill, which is also considered by the Portfolio Committee on Justice. And even here, further deliberations are scheduled for the next term. But here, there's this bill that I spoken about in my introductory remarks, which I said is a liquor amendment bill, which is considered by which has been duly referred to the Portfolio Committee on Trade Industry and Competition. This bill is said to be considered by the committee. It's still not to be scheduled, but when I've spoken with the colleagues there, I think the bill is said to be scheduled in the next term. We can go to slide number 18. Here is the recap bill, also which is considered by the Portfolio Committee on Justice, and even here further deliberations are scheduled for the next term. We can go to slide number 19. Slide number 32, Judicial Matters Amendment Bill. Here, public hearings with regard to this amendment bill are scheduled for the next term. We can go to slide number 26. Slide number 26 deals with the National Enterprise Bill, which is considered by Portfolio Committee on Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation. Here, following the meeting that was held in the 9th of June, 9th of July, where the members raised some challenges with regard to the bill. And as such, the committee sought advice from the Office of the House Chair. And then the committee scheduled to consider that advice for the meeting of which was scheduled for today. But however, that meeting has since been rescheduled for next term, I think for the 23rd of October. It didn't sit today. It was scheduled for today, but it has not said. We can go to slide number 28. Here is a prevention, is a prevention of illegal eviction from an unlawful occupation of land amendment bill, which is being considered by a Portfolio Committee on Human Settlement. Further deliberation about this bill are set briefings which is going to be the briefing by the Content Advisor are scheduled for the 22nd of October, 2025. So the further deliberations about this are set for the next term. We can go to a statutory appointment now, which is slide number 31. Here, Chair, the appointment of the board for MTDA has been finalized. This has been debated in the House on the 16th of September, and the matter now is closed for this one, for this appointment since the 16th of September, because as I said that it was debated in the House then, and then the matter has been resolved and closed, finalized actually. Then we can go to slide number 32. It's about the appointment of the filling of the vacancies for the Deputy Public Protector. Here, the report is not yet adopted, and then the remarks is that is waiting for further directive from the presiding officer, which is similar with the following slide, which is slide number 32, about the South African Human Rights Commission. Even here, for the appointment of the commissioner, the report has been finished and then not adopted. It's not yet adopted and is waiting for further directive from the presiding officers. And then we can go to slide number 33. Now, slide number 33. It was South African Human Rights Commission. You can go slide number 35. Yeah, this is on the 16th of, this is about the establishment of a National Council on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide. Yeah, the meeting which was scheduled, and in fact the meeting was scheduled for the 16th of September, where the Connect advisor, I mean the legal advisor was scheduled to present the legal opinion for the establishment of the National Council on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide, and that meeting took place, and then the legal advisor from the legal section of the Parliament presented the opinion with regard to the establishment. As such, the further deliberations are scheduled for the next term for the continuation of the appointment or establishment of this National Council on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide. We can go to slide number 36. This is about the appointment of a ombud on the office of Small Business Ombud. Here, as we recall, and other members, that on the 5th of June, the report on the appointment of this ombud was scheduled to be debated in the House, and then the Deputy Chief of the largest party requested that the report should be withdrawn, and the report was to be reconsidered by the committee, and on the 7th of September, the committee was scheduled to reconsider this report, but that meeting have never took place owing to some unforeseen circumstances. We can go to slide number, I think it will be slide number 40 now, petitions. There's a petition that was received from Mr. G.A. Wagner on behalf of the Committee for the Urgent Securing and Rehabilitation of Withdraw Dam Quarry in Hittedal, Bloemfontein. Yeah, the portfolio committee that was supposed to deal with dealing with that petition is portfolio committee on police, portfolio committee on mineral resource and energy, and also portfolio committee on environment. The meeting was scheduled for 19th of September, that is for today, but the petitioner was unavailable. So the meeting has been rescheduled for the next term because that is where the petitioner will be available. And then we can continue, can go to slide number 43. Yes, this is about the petitioner that was received from Ms. Clark, calling for urgent implementation of an action plan to address illegal mining on Ward number 2 in City of Ekurhuleni. The joint meeting or briefing has been said, the joint briefing between the Portfolio Committee on Police, Mineral and Energy and Portfolio of Mineral, Petroleum Resource and Home Affairs has been was scheduled for 17th of September, and that meeting have said, and then the briefing was received, and then it was resolved that they have to still continue with receive further briefings during in the next term. We can go to slide number 44. That is the last slide. The slide is about the petition which was received from Honorable Kruger, from the resident of Msukwalika District Municipality, requesting National Assembly to investigate sustainable supply of water in the municipality. That petition has been it has still not to be, it has still to be rescheduled by the committee. The committee still have to reschedule that petition that was just received because a new petition actually. The last slide, I think it's the end of the presentation. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Can we now have the report from the Bills section. Is it Advocate Mata?
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. My report will start from slide number 3. Slide number 3 is the new bill that Mr. Mkache has already reported on, that was introduced on the 8th of September by Honorable Mente. The bill is a proposed section 76, and we can move to the next slide, which is slide number 5. Honorable Speaker, on slide number 5, we're reporting on the South African National Water Resources Infrastructure Agency SOC Limited Amendment Bill, B13 of 2025. This bill was considered by the House on Thursday, the 18th of September, and transmitted to the NCOP for concurrence. The bill is now before the Select Committee on COGTA, and I must mention that this is a priority bill. So the bill's office has already received the second language from the department working on the bill, which is the second language is in isiZulu. And the Immigration Amendment Bill, which is B8B of 2024, was also considered by the House on the 11th of September and transmitted to the NCOP as well for concurrence. So this bill is currently before the Select Committee on Security. So this takes us to the end of our report today. But with your permission, Honorable Speaker, can I hand over to my colleague, Advocate van der Merwe, to continue with our report? Thank you.
Thank you. Advocate van der Merwe, can you continue?
Thank you very much, Speaker. Good morning to you and good morning to the members. Members specifically requested feedback at the last NAPC meeting on 2 matters. The first matter is the one that is related to the General Family Laws Amendment Bill that was introduced on 13 August 2025. The last time we reported, we indicated that there was a very short time for Parliament to finalize this bill. The suspension of the order lapses 9 October. But the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development has confirmed in a letter dated 5 September that they have in fact commenced legal proceedings to request that the court extends the suspension of that order. And they also confirmed that they are expecting that application to be filed very soon, the next few weeks. The next matter that the NAPC asked us to, if we can go to the next slide, please. So the next matter that I was asked to give feedback on is the matter that relates to the Traditional and Khoisan Leadership Act. This is a matter of Mohali. And in this matter, the department requested an extension from the court, and the court provided an extension to 29 May 2027. I think in the last meeting I said 2026. I apologize for that. It is in fact extended to 29 May 2027. And the department also confirmed, and I've given, because members asked, I've given a lot of information on this slide. But in short, the department has done their initial work in cabinet. They were then able to also meet with the Office of the State Law Advisor, where they are required to get a pre-certification. That pre-certification was almost completed by the time that they provided this feedback. And the next step then is for them to take it through cabinet for the approval to table in Parliament. So this bill is likely to be introduced in the next few weeks. Thank you. I can also maybe just alert members that there's also a report circulated that has information on all relevant matters. These 2 were just the ones with progress on it and specifically requested by this committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for those 2 reports. Can we now open for discussion? I've noted Honorable Swart followed by Honorable Doug Moore.
Thank you, Speaker, and good morning, colleagues. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Yes, I just as always want to again raise my concerns about the Constitutional Court deadlines. I did raise it previously with the Madam Deputy Speaker in your absence, but this one deadline with the family matters bill. The deadline is the 9th of October. We would have been given, if I understand it, 2 years as Parliament. We understand that our legal section has done everything they can with the department. The advice is that an application for extension will be brought in the next few weeks. That is unacceptable because that will go beyond the 9th of October and that order will then lapse. We had the RECA extension debacle earlier this year, and I want to urge Speaker again that we can't be expected as portfolio committees to try to finalize these bills when there is Constitutional Court deadlines, and for the Constitutional Court then to urgently hear matters where the departments have sat on such matters. I again want to express my deep dissatisfaction with the state of affairs. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Swart. Honorable Dartmoor, followed by Honorable Mkhaliphi.
Thanks so much, Speaker. And also thank you for the comprehensive reports from committees, bills, and also the legal advisor. Just in regard to the report that we received in regard to the committees, there is that column that indicates their aim to finish. And as one goes through these reports, there's literally, with the exception of one or two, none of the committees actually indicates aim to finish. And I know our House Chair, Member Froelich, has raised this issue with the chairs, but I'm just, I think that a pressure needs to be applied so that when a committee is dealing with a bill, it seems to me that if there's no indication of aim to finish, the question that can obviously be asked is, has this committee seriously looked at what's before it, worked out a program if there's going to be public consultation? So I just think that's an issue that we need to be concerned about, that so many of these committees don't actually indicate when is the aim to finish. And then I just wondered if there was a quick update around the Public Protector and the Human Rights Commission. I think we're all aware that part of the strategic plan for Parliament in this administration is to really move in our processes to appoint persons to boards and institutions, etc. And it just seems, I'm not quite sure what the issue is and if there's anything that can be done around those two appointments. And then finally, the report on bills indicated that for unforeseen circumstances, the small business ombud, that meeting didn't happen. I just wondered if there was possibly an explanation as to what those unforeseen circumstances were. I think all of us remember that our Deputy Chief Whip moved a motion to send this issue back. And now we see the committee is, for some unforeseen circumstances, not being able to meet. Thanks.
Thank you, Honorable Mkhaliphi.
Good morning to you, Speaker. Good morning to colleagues. Speaker, on the first report, I just need a clarity regards to the DPP, Deputy Public Protector. The report suggests that this started on the 13th August 2024. So the committee restarted the process of filling the vacancy of the DPP. And then on the remarks, it says is awaiting for further directives from the presiding officers. Same goes with the Human Rights Commission's appointment. So I just want to get a clarity. Why is waiting for directive from presiding officers if the report is ready? The second aspect of it, Chair, Madam Speaker, is on the second report. I just want to make an example of the demarcation authority bill. It's taking too long, Speaker, and I have raised this issue here in the programming committee that when we do laws in Parliament, it seems as if it's taking too long. With Ms. Charmaine van der Merwe also saying that one of the bills is going to be starting all over again. It's towards the end of the term, 2025. So, Speaker, if you can address the issue of the bills and the processes of the bills in Parliament, it's taking too long. Some of them have to be restarted again. So if we can zoom in on that one, Deputy Speaker, Madam Speaker. The other issue, which is the last issue, which we spoke about it on the Chiefs Forum, is the issue of the joint committees on rape, which was also being delayed until we raised it in the Chiefs Forum, is lacking here. So we need to know how far with that process as well, because if we don't track it, we are going to lose all of it, Speaker. Thanks.
Thank you, Honorable Frolick.
Good morning, Honorable Speaker, and good morning to the colleagues. Just to respond to a few issues, Speaker, I'll start with the last one, the one on rape. There was an update given in the Chief Whips Forum, but I want that update to be included. And this, Speaker, is more testimony to the instability in the administration of the committee section. I must indicate once again for the record, it's 8 years now that there's acting all the time, and that impacts on the quality of the work and the reporting that comes from that section. Secondly, Speaker, as far as the Deputy Public Protector, Human Rights Commission vacancies are concerned, we have now formally written, and I will get the reply today, for an interim report to be provided to the office of the Speaker and to the House, because it is unacceptable. The information at my disposal is that there seems to be no political agreement amongst the parties in that committee. And when committee meetings are called to discuss the matter, the quorum collapses because parties don't want to come to a decision. Now, that is unacceptable. We need a report that must come to the House, and the House must give direction on how we must proceed. Those are critical bodies, and we must ensure that those vacancies are timelessly filled. So I agree with the members that it's simply taking too long. Then the next one, Speaker, is there's one on the small business ombudsman. A similar situation is beginning to play itself off there, where the parties, having initially agreed on the proposals and the proposed candidates, now have changed their minds. And there seems to be also political brinkmanship that's playing itself out, where the committee then can't come to a decision. So the meeting that was supposed to take place 2 days ago had to be postponed for further political consultation. And I await the outcome of that consultation, Speaker, because the inability of political parties in committees to come to some form of agreement, or if they don't agree, they must say so and report to the House, is impacting now on the finalization of legislation and also especially the appointment to statutory bodies. The National Gender Council, that matter, we addressed it yesterday, Speaker. We were in a meeting with you, and the committee must proceed to start the process for the advertisement. There is a program, and the committee section must also include that program into their report. It's a matter that was raised sharply by the President last week in question time, and we have taken a decision that we are not going to go into amendments and to consider any other matter, is that they must proceed to move towards the advertisement shortlisting and come with report to the National Assembly so that it can be sent to the President. Any amendments to applicable legislation can be considered afterwards, but it is a priority and it is a matter that the President addressed last week. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Secretary to the National Assembly.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to just report on 2 issues. One is that the head of committees has since been appointed, and the candidate or the colleague will start on the 1st of October. The second one is to report on the statutory rape task team, or the committees that are dealing with the matter. The committees intend to hold a high-level national public participation program with stakeholders from the 10th to the 12th of November, and they intend to adopt their report on the 25th of November, and the report submitted to the House on the 27th of November. That is the report, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. From the committee section and the bills section, do you want to respond to some of the issues that have not been responded to?
Thank you, Speaker. I think all the matters that have been raised with regard to committee section have been dealt by Honorable House Chair. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Advocate Matha?
Same with the Bills Office, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. I think one of the issues that was a question, but also can be regarded as a comment, is a proposal by Honorable Dagmo to the committee sections that we will need to have a column that indicates when is the committee intending to finalize the bill so that we can have sight of the timelines that each committee is having. And I'm sure that has been noted by the committee section. But the other concern that has been raised where we need to look at is the time of processing the bill so that we can understand where are really the challenges that makes some of the legislation, even though they may be very easy, tend to take much longer than it is expected. I think on the other issues that has been raised have been responded to by the Secretary to the National Assembly as well as the House Chair. Can I now move to the next? Sorry, Honorable Swart.
Chair, I just wanted a response as to how we're going to deal with these constitutional court deadlines, given the fact that it doesn't seem to be improving, and whether we can look at some mechanism again, possibly to write to the leader of government business. I would just like a response on that. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. Just to indicate that on the constitutional, the bills that have got the constitutional requirement for them to be amended, we track those and we do write both to the ministers concerned as well as to the leader of government business. We once again will follow up on the letters that were written to seek responses from the leader of government business and the ministers concerned. How do they intend to deal with such legislation? Honorable Nkalipi?
Thanks, Speaker. I think there's a critical issue that was raised by the House Chair regards to acting in positions. Maybe the Speaker may want to address it because it's one of our challenges. So we have struggled to process bills in times because there is no permanent people who is supposed to deal with such important matters, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nkalipi. Maybe in our next meeting, we can ask the executive responsible for human resources issues in the administration, but I know, and I'm sure you would, in your other cap as the member of the Joint Standing Committee on Financial Management of Parliament, where there has been a reporting on progress that has been made in filling some of the posts, as Mr. Paso has just reported. We will, I think, in the next meeting after the constituency period, report which of those positions that have been filled, how many are still remaining that are not filled, so that at least we can have a sense of how this matter is being attended to. Thank you very much, honorable members. Can we now move to the parliamentary program? Honorable Dagmo.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I don't think we need to dwell on what is essentially the last day of the third program. So if we could move on to the fourth term. And also just to say, I am aware that this program was shared by email yesterday. So I also want to move as quickly as possible. In this fourth term, you will see it starts at week 30 and it goes all the way to week 39. The first 2 weeks, 30 and 31, allow opportunities for committees and oversight. And also in week 31, BRR reports are available and on the available to be presented. And you would see that on Friday, the 17th of October, there is going to be training and capacity for members via hybrid. You can look quickly at week 32, a normal plenary on the 21st, dealing with petitions as well. You can move through also training again, excuse me, in week 32 on Friday, the 24th of October. Week 33, all I really want to highlight there is the Deputy President coming to answer questions. And then in the next week, week 34, the President will be coming to answer questions. Then an important week 35, and this is what also concerned the Chief Whips Forum, is that the date for the tabling of the medium-term budget policy statement is the 12th of November, plus the adjustment appropriation bill and certain other division of revenue bills, which is referred to at the end, at the bottom of that. So that was the date that was given by the minister. And it seems that although there were attempts to engage about an earlier date, we are stuck with that. And that obviously then is a marker from which we need to deal with issues related to looking at that policy statement, the revised fiscal framework, and so on. But we can, so that's just an important date on the 12th of November. And I think if members can just note that that would be a hybrid session, as far as I'm aware. Sorry, Andrew, if we can just go back there. Yeah, just that plenary is a hybrid because it's simply the tabling of the budget policy statement and introducing the adjustments. If we can then go to week 36, you will see that we have the Deputy President again on the 20th of November. And then, yeah, there's many plenaries there on Friday, the 21st. You can see that week 37, if we just slow down a little bit on this week, yeah, you will see there that we have on the 25th of November, kind of normal plenary, and also a debate there on the 16 days of activism for no violence against women and children. So that's an important debate before that month of activism starts. And then if you can go to the Friday of that week, that is specifically set aside for committees. But on Thursday, the 27th, that is where at the plenary, which will also be a hybrid, we'll consider the report of the Standing Committee on Finance to look at the revised and the proposed fiscal framework, which would have been tabled by the minister previously. So that's going to be an important day. And then if we could go on to the 37th, the 25th of, sorry, into that week 38, sorry, thank you. You will see there that we have a normal plenary, the second. Once again, we have once again we have the questions for oral replies scheduled for that Wednesday the 3rd, then Thursday the 4th. We will be dealing with those considerations again. Again, the Standing Committee comes and reports on the appropriation of the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill, and then we have the second reading. And then on Friday, we have those many plenaries. I'm not sure whether I mentioned, but that in week 34, we have the President. We have the Deputy President coming twice, and we also have the President coming in week 34. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. Then we literally go into the last week of this fourth term, and you would see there that we have a busy day on the 9th of December dealing with, once again, a hybrid session, considering all this legislation linked to the medium-term budget policy statement, second reading on taxation laws, etc. And then we have farewell speeches for the year. Just to say, colleagues, that we then go on to a constituency period, and you will see that the constituency period for the NA would then be from 10 to 19 December, which gives members an opportunity to once again be in their constituency before the festive season starts for most of us. And then the leave period actually formal leave 22nd of December to the 9th of January, because obviously with this program, we would have not have dealt in the fourth term, particularly with the adjustment appropriations. As members know, we have to go through, like with the budget, vote by vote. So that will have to lap into the first term of the of 2026. So you would recall that the discussion in the Chief Whips Forum was because we were presented with a program that would have only ended on the 17th of December. So this is still obviously a draft being presented to the program committee, but we're hoping that members will be more comfortable with this proposal. So just recall then that the adjustment part of that, which was in the first draft, is now going to be shifted to January. Thank you. Thanks, Speaker.
Thank you very much. Secretary to the National Assembly, I see your hand as an addition, I'm sure, to the
Yes, Madam
program.
Speaker. Yes, Madam Speaker, concerning the adjustments appropriation bill process, the proposal is that in 2026, we deal with that on the 13th of January, 2026 in the NA. Thank you, ma'am. And we think that it's important for this committee to agree in principle to that, so that the NCOP also, the message can be conveyed to the NCOP, and the NCOP hopefully will adjust its program accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you, honourable members. There is the tabling of the fourth term program of Parliament. Any reflections from members? Honourable Mpapane, Honourable Nolichumu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I just want to support the date as proposed for us to deal with the appropriations, 2026 January. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, as per our agreement, Chair. Honorable Speaker, thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Nolichumu.
Thank you very much, Speaker, and good morning to you and the colleagues. Initially, we had suggested that the finalization of the medium-term budget be on the 17th. I saw that most of the parties have agreed to move it to the 13th of September. However, my question is that what will be the implications of moving the date to the 13th of January? And we will still be within the timeframes prescribed by the money bills if we do that, because the money bills amendment procedure says that the minister must table the medium-term budget policy statement 3 months before the introduction of the national budget. Now, if we move the dates, what will be the implications in terms of the introduction of the national budget? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Kalipi.
Yes, addition to my chief whip, Honorable Nontando, Speaker. Firstly, we have an intensive debate on the Chief Whips Forum about this matter. One must also note the fact that the minister proposed to table this media MTBPS on the 12th of November, which is late. So therefore, my question is, why are we allowing the executive to dictate to us, to Parliament? Because surely it will also affect the processing in terms of the parliamentary work. So again, after the after the minister tabled it, the Parliament needs to process it within 30 days. So now there is a proposal that we must finalize it on the 13th of January. 13th of January, we know that people are still on holidays, Speaker. And according to the program of Parliament, when are we coming back to Parliament? That is number one. So I want to check the 30 days from 12 November is not 12 December. Why on our part, as Parliament, we are not be able to finalize on the 12th of December? Because according to the guidelines in terms of the law, we need to finish or to process it within 30 days. That is the question that I need a clarity on, Speaker. Thanks.
Honorable Chief Whip of the DA.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Good morning to you all. Madam Speaker, yes, I concur with the Deputy Chief Whip that the DA also supports the finalisation as proposed by the Programming Whip and that it gets finalised in the middle of January. I do just want to make this one remark that members of Parliament are probably the only job in the country that's perceived to still be on holiday in the middle of January, and it really wouldn't hurt anyone to come back to work during that period like the rest of the country would. But just from our side, I do support the move from the Deputy Chief Whip that we support the program as it was presented to us. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Secretary to the National Assembly.
Madam Speaker, on the issue of the implications, the 30-day period and the 3-month period, I'm going to ask my colleague, Advocate Frankie Jenkins, because we've discussed this matter and we believe that it is possible to still deal with the budget on the 13th of January. But Advocate Jenkins will explain that from a legal point of view. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Honorable Ngambayong Zingwangwa.
Speaker, apologies, my gadget froze. The UDM also supports the proposal on the table. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Dagmo. Did you want to say something before I can ask Advocate Jenkins?
No, Speaker, that was actually going to be the suggestion that issue of compliance with the money bills is dealt with, because my understanding from the advice that I had received was that is possible. But Mr. Kauso has indicated that the advocate will speak, so I withdraw. And just to say, in support of what some of the other colleagues have said on the Chief Whips Forum, there were indications by a number of parties in support of the proposal to shift the adjustments to January. Thanks.
Thank you, Honorable Advocate Jenkins.
Good morning, Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members and colleagues, Secretary to Parliament. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Madam Speaker. There are 2 timelines that set out in Section 12 of the Money Bills Act, and Section 12 deals with the adjustments budget. So when we're looking at the timeframes to deal with the budget, the first is in subsection 7, which gives Parliament 15 days from the tabling of the adjustments budget to report on the fiscal framework. And it's the committees must report. It's not that the House must approve it within those 15 days. The committees must report within 15 days. That's a very important pivot or important day, because only after the fiscal framework has been approved by Parliament can the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill and the Adjustments Appropriation Bill both be referred to the Standing Committee on Appropriations. That process then follows the legislative process with those 2 bills. One would be a 76, the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill, and the Adjustments Appropriation Bill follows, it's a 77 bill, a money bill, but it follows the 75 procedure. So it's NA and then NCOP. That process, in terms of subsection 19 of Section 12, indicates that the Committee on Appropriations must report to the relevant House within 30 days after tabling of the National Adjustments Budget, or as soon as reasonably possible thereafter. So that last sentence was there to actually loosen the tight timeframes, which was sometimes very difficult and raised questions about the legality if we then overshoot those timelines in the past. And it can happen for various reasons, Madam Speaker. So in my view, as the law stands, I think we are entitled to plan for January, because that's what we're doing here. We can, of course, plan for December, but we are entitled to plan for January simply because the way I understand it, 12 December is very close to the time we usually rise, 15th, and many things can happen. There might be a request for further public consultations. We do not know what is in the adjustments budget. And Madam, without trying to throw oil on a fire, there's various budgets, specifically the national dialogue, which the president has said we will find out in the national adjustments budget where exactly that budget lies. So there's a lot of people looking at this process who will want to make submissions. I think, I can only assume. So I think it's within the law to plan for 12 January. Thank you, Madam Speaker and honourable members and Secretary. Thanks.
Thank you. Maybe Advocate Jenkins, if you can respond to the question asked by Honourable Noluchungu in terms of the timelines between the medium-term budget policy statement and the tabling of the budget, the 3 months. You are muted.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, the section 27 of the PFMA, the Public Finance Management Act, says the minister must table the annual budget before the start of the financial year or in exceptional circumstances on a date as soon as possible after the start of that financial year. The Money Bills Act, ma'am, indicates that I would actually ask the honourable member if that 30 days weren't an amendment that's been taken out in 2018, if we look at section 13, because it's not a section 13 requirement anymore. The introduction of the budget is not really fixed in comparison to when we've adopted the adjustments budget in terms of either section 27 or section 7 of the section 7 of the Money Bills Act. So I would maybe from certain clarity on that question then, ma'am, because the 30 days after, I don't see it in the law here, ma'am. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Advocate Jenkins. I think you have given the legal clarity in terms of the compliance. Just to indicate, Honourable Mkalipi, that I don't think Parliament is ready backwards and forwards towards the executive. I'm sure Mr. Klaso did indicate to the Chief Whips Forum, we did engage the minister and pointed out to him that the delay in tabling the medium policy statement will actually have an effect on the timelines that need to be followed to actually pass the statement. He indeed appreciated the concerns that Parliament had raised to that effect, but also indicated to Parliament that the delay in the approval of the budget has actually had an effect on the budgeting process planning that, as the National Treasury, they have to undertake. Therefore, the 12th was the earliest which they could agree to in terms of when they can be able to table. So with all our trying, faced with that response, I don't think there was anything more that Parliament could do in that respect, except that we indicated to the minister that there will indeed be a challenge that we may not conclude that process in December, but rather in January, because we can't also compromise our own processes as Parliament that we must undertake in dealing with this medium budget policy statement, as well as the adjustments on the appropriations, which I think it's fair. And he understood that will likely would take us towards January. So I do think that we have done what we needed to do, but also we have been firm in protecting parliamentary processes, that they are not compromised nor rushed as a result. Honourable Nkwankwa?
Speaker, in essence, you are saying, to which I agree, that we can't have our cake and eat it. If we delay the parliamentary process in terms of passing the budget, we must know that it has implications on the work of the executive, since the two arms of government are interdependent. In other words, we should consider those implications when we are due to pass the budget next year, so that we don't come here and perhaps try to address or be affected by a process that we started, because we itself inflicted this delay to some extent, to a large extent. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nkwankwa, but I would really say the circumstances around which we found ourselves in on the first budget this year was extraordinary. And I'm sure we will try and make sure that going forward, we do not find ourselves in that situation. But I was just also appealing us to appreciate that as Parliament, we have done what we needed to do, but at the same time, we have made sure that we do not compromise our own process in processing that medium-term budget policy statement as well as the appropriations adjustment. Honorable Kalipi?
No, thanks, Madam Speaker, for your clarification, but I think we can do more as Parliament. My point is that we must not allow the executive to dictate to our work as Parliament, because my understanding of the medium-term budget policy statement, as much as it's a crucial document, the minister knows about this because he needs to come and outline the government's fiscal policy and spending priorities over the midterm. So if the minister can't have those things in time, definitely it's going to affect us as Parliament. And I think, Speaker, and I wish that we have made it very clear to him that no, we can't just allow him of keep on changing dates, because it's going to affect us big times. Because he needs to come and outline key highlights, such as revenue projections, expenditure adjustments, debt management. That's what he needs to do and come and tabled to Parliament. But it's fine, Speaker. It's GNU. It's up to you. People are looking at the GNU who are delaying all the processes. Thanks, Speaker.
Well, I don't think that is fair, Honorable Kalipi. You know, we gave the minister the time, which was 4th of October. He came back in writing, explained, and that letter was read to the Chief Whips Forum, explaining the reason why he's requesting the 12th. We went back to him as the presiding officers, myself in particular, and the chair of the Council of Provinces, to engage him on what the implications of, the date of the 12th of November will have on the processes. That engagement was done in a respectful and manner of understanding where both the legislature as well as the executive stands. And I don't think it's just as simply as we might put it, that, he needs to say where he will get the revenue, the expenditure, and so on, because that also have to take into consideration the whole budgeting process. So it's not just about one element of the statement, because that statement informs what the budget is going to be. And if in the consideration of the National Treasury and the process that they must undertake, it meant this is the time at which they can come to the legislature, which is Parliament. And also accepting that because of that, Parliament itself will have to undertake its processes without compromising. I think for me, it's a fair way that we have found each other in this process, because as the head of the legislature, we also must respect the processes of the legislature and guard them that are not compromised in the process. And I think that's what we've done in this instance. Honorable Nkwankwa?
Speaker, without creating a dialogue, I think you and I are talking at cross purposes. We are agreeing. There's nothing wrong with what the minister is saying, actually. It means it's the parliamentary process that delayed because of the failure of GNU members to reach an agreement on the process of the budget together with its contents. The failure is therefore not on the part of the institution of Parliament. which is where you were responding from that perspective. The failure is on the part of the parties that were tabling the budget, given the fact that they're in coalition. So next time they do that, they have to consider the implications of that on the entire budget process and the entire budget cycle. That's the point I was making. So people have to take responsibility for their actions, because we are responsible for this delay and it is affecting Parliament. And Honorable Mkhalipi and other colleagues are quite correct in complaining about the timelines, because they were not responsible for this current delay, which affects them as well. But you, as the head of the institution, was also not responsible, for an example, for the delays which took place. You only had to react to what those who were in coalition were doing. So this actually should be a warning for GNU members to understand exactly when they delay the process, what implications it has on the cycle. That's the point I was making. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nkwankwa, for that. And I don't think anybody would really counter the proposals as well as the warning that you are putting in your statement. Can we now move to the minutes of our last meeting? These minutes have been circulated, members, and I'm sure members have had a look at it. So can I ask if there are any corrections on the minutes? I don't see any hand. Can I get the mover for the adoption of the minutes?
I move, Speaker. Dagmo.
Thank you, Honorable Dagmo, for moving. Honorable Papane?
I second, Honorable Speaker. Thanks.
Thank you very much. The minutes are approved as a correct record. Mr. Kaso, are there any matters arising?
Speaker, we have dealt with the one matter arising concerning bills, the Traditional and Khoisan Leadership Act. There was a request by Honorable Reddy for information to be circulated on statements and motions. We have since done that. That is all, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. Are there any matters arising that members might have noticed which have not been reflected on and responded to by Honorable Kaso? If none, can I thank all members for participating in this meeting and bring this meeting to a closure, and all the best with your constituency period during this term until we meet in the next term and meet those who are going to P20 during that process of the P20. And good luck and travel safe to those who will be going to Barbados for the Commonwealth International Meeting. Thank you very much.
Recording stopped.
Thanks, Speaker.